What's going on, everybody? This is Moose and Brian here from OccupyFantasy.com at OccupyFantasy on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, we're on it. Again, I'm Moose, co-founder, co-host here for tonight's stream at CFB_Moose on Twitter. Got my brother, co-founder, CEO, got a whole bunch of titles. Professional DFS player is also one of them. Brian at Brian Jester FF on Twitter. What's up, Brian? How's it going?
This was the I don't even know how to describe today, but it's the one day every week of the preseason schedule when there's a million games and your head feels like it's about to explode after doing all the research. That's today, but I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, nothing like looking through like the same. It's like the occasional every week. You just have to, like, each day of the week, you just like, all right, I'm gonna put these 35 people on Twitter text alerts, like, and then you got to switch over the next day and the next day, and then today is just like, all right, I have like 140 people on text alerts that is blowing up my phone. But hey, that's what you got to do to make it happen.
Or you're looking for information for a team, and you're like, oh, this might be the article, and you click it, and you realize you've read that article 5 times this week.
Yeah, I've also had the thing of like, oh my goodness, wow, I was like, wow, this seems like a gem, and I was like, oh, this is like week 3 of last year. What is going on?
Yeah, I'm with you, but I'm excited, dude, because we got to me it looks like we have a lot of edges tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about it yesterday. We love these slates where, as we talked about, the more slates there are, especially in preseason, the bigger the edge it's going to be, just because different content sites, people are going to diverge from the top plays. I think our top plays are great. Cover boy here, I am very upset that you all put him on the cover, but you have put him on for a good reason.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, Moose is not a fan of Nathan Peterman. In fact, he's such of an anti-fan that a few years ago for Christmas, I don't know how this happened, but Nathan Peterman had a store online where you could buy Nathan Peterson merchandise.
It's still available.
So is it? But the item I got you, the big Nathan Peterson blanket, no longer available, right?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, you got me like the greatest blanket ever, and thankfully the dog hates Nathan Peterman as well and tore it to pieces.
But this is the big ass blanket with Nathan Peterman's face on it. Now, most of you know Nathan Peterman for his 5 interception game against the Chargers, which was maybe the worst debut in NFL history. But he's a preseason god, and tonight he's likely going to play, if not the entire game, 3 quarters. Derek Carr doesn't play in the preseason. John Gruden's already talked about that. They're going to get enough reps in joint practices over the next couple of weeks. Marcus Mariota is officially doubtful after hurting his leg in practice. They had to sign some dude named Case Cookus, who could be a made-up player. I don't know. They signed him this week as like an emergency quarterback. Maybe he might get a couple plays at the end of the game. But that means Nathan Peterson guaranteed for the most playing time on the slate, barring disaster. And that makes him a top play because most playing time equals top plays in preseason.
Yeah, I mean, we see it here where you can win lineups, low risk, high risk, satellites, whatever you're playing, with a quarterback that scores 4 points, 5 points. So as long as he doesn't throw like 7 picks, which he probably will, that's a bias of me saying. He's easily not just the top quarterback play. It can be a top overall play, I believe.
I think so too. And in fact, I missed 50K by 1 point when I had Nathan Peterman in my lineup 2 preseasons ago. But he was still in my winning lineup that won like 25K. So for those of you with the preconceived notions about Nathan Peterman, let's throw him out the window for preseason.
Definitely. Now, again, we're here until about 6:30, 6:20-ish, depending on how many people are here, what kind of questions you all ask. So ask questions. We're not going to answer who's the top quarterback, who's the top wide receiver, top X player. That's all in our daily plug that you see on screen here, available at OccupyFantasy.com with our membership. Get the membership, join our Discord where we're breaking it down even more, answering your questions off stream, offline. But yeah, it has team notes, has everything. I'm old school. I also have like literally a notepad with like a bunch of writing on it. Helps me, but it's amazing, Brian.
Man, that's a good move. Honestly, I don't hate the move. And the scrolling of the endless Google Doc today, I probably could have used a notepad myself.
Yeah, and so I wanted to point out, I don't know if this is even off limits or not, but we do have like a stacking section, and there's one team that has a pretty decent stack. Now, we talked about, in preseason stacking doesn't matter that much, but If you have a team that think can play a half, a quarter together, like the Rams, do you think that could be a potential stacking opportunity in high risk contests?
Yeah, so that's stacking is an interesting concept. And again, until we get more specific questions, we'll talk about these high level items for preseason DFS. If you got a quarterback that's going to play a half, right? Let's say a half, especially on a smaller slate, he's going to play a half, and we know he has specific receivers playing with him. It makes total sense to stack. However, as we get some of these games where quarterbacks are playing with multiple units, guys like Nathan Peterman playing potentially the entire game, at least 3 quarters, playing with different guys, and the fact that so many receivers are low owned, um, then I don't think stacking it is as required. Like for Peterman, there's a couple guys we like, but everyone he's playing with is going to be low owned. Sub 10% for sure, most sub 5%. So, and it could be kind of tough depending on, especially if it's in the second half. There are guys in the first half we know he's going to play with that we think are good options, but if he does his damage in the second half against fourth stringers, we may not roster those guys, but he can still put up a good score at quarterback. So it may not be as necessary to stack with him. But we have someone like, I'll talk about Jordan Love. I think everyone knows he's a pretty decent play tonight, going to play a half at least. There are 3 receivers that we really like that he's been targeting all camp that are going to play with him pretty much while he's out on the field tonight. And if you play him, then it definitely makes sense to stack one of those 3 guys because it should be, I say should be, a narrow target funnel for Green Bay receivers when Love is on the field. So Moose, I think it kind of depends on how long a guy's playing and if we know exactly who he's playing with.
That's true, yeah. Definitely. And so I don't know if this is breaking news, but definitely news nevertheless. So the Jaguars Inactives came out, and
Okay.
so 4 wide receivers are inactive that aren't Marvin Jones. So I don't know how thin they are at wide receiver now. What do you think that does to the wide receiver bench? And I can actually say their names if you want me to.
Yeah. Please say the names because I want to hear this guy's last name that you're going to pronounce. please say it,
Yes.
bro.
So Dorsett, Chark, Jones, and Imator Behabi.
That sounds right. That sounds right to me. So in our preseason notes today, most every team we talk about playing time expectations for every position, go really in depth. And this is what we wrote for Jacksonville today. DJ Chark already going to be out. He's not expected back until the regular season opener. Philip Dorsett recently returned from a hamstring injury, but he's questionable. So we already kind of considered that. Josh, whatever his last name was, and Tim Jones are likely out after missing practice. With that said, this was notes we had earlier today. There are still 10 other wide receivers on the roster after the starters. So, this really doesn't change anything. I think this was pretty much expected. We still like Colin Johnson and Laquan Treadwell. However, it's a really crowded wide receiver core. Everyone's going to get burned tonight. Definitely better spots on the slate.
Yeah, and that's what shows that, it's hard to pick a spot. These people are going to be low risk, but with an 8-game slate, it's going to be so difficult to try and pick a needle out of a haystack on that when there are so much better options.
Right, exactly. And we've got another note here, right?
Okay.
Cleveland beat reporters are talking about because that is one of the first games here. And Cleveland is thin at running back. A couple of our top plays are from Cleveland. There's one guy on their roster that is listed at running back on the depth chart, but he's been kind of a gadget player, Felton. And reporters are saying now they don't even think he's going to take running back snaps tonight. Which, if that's the case, that really boosts our top plays. We kind of expected it, but this really kind of confirms it. So Cleveland running backs are great plays tonight too.
Definitely, yeah. And again, I know we have our top plays, but if you're looking for that super needle thin in the haystack, read all the playing time notes and expectations. If you want to know why a player is a top player, or if you want to just again go for stacking options, know a little bit more in depth, definitely go there. Cool. So again, we're asking for questions. Brian, I don't see any questions yet. I don't know if this YouTube's just being dumb for me. It's been dumb for me all week.
It has been dumb all week.
Definitely. So again, 10 more minutes. Let's see. Just seeing if there's any more notes. Any other notes or news coming in, Brian? I know I don't have access to the staff chat right now.
Yeah, I got you. Bucks beat reporter tweeting just now, maybe 2 minutes ago. Cameron Brate has returned to practice, but he won't play tonight. Don't expect too many reps for Rob Gronkowski, O.J. Howard. Gronk's a vet. O.J. Howard coming back from injury. Expect lots of playing time for Cody McElroy, Tanner Hudson. If you were with us 2 years ago, you remember how just ridiculous Tanner Hudson was. He was basically literally Rob Gronkowski in the preseason. He was going like 7 for 101 like every game. He's our top play tonight. I think that's that's fair to say. I think most people would agree with that. This beat kind of confirms that. And Moose, as we were putting together the top plays today, tight end sucks. This is not a good position. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to play Tanner Hudson. He has the potential to break the slate. But again, as we've seen Moose over the past couple of days, tight ends can legit score 0 points, even if they're on the field.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes you can just like literally just throw a dart and if you get a 0, it's fine. AB Smooth says Peterman's season. This is how much Peterson's season is going to be. I'm going to create a poll, which I didn't even know that's a thing. And so will Nathan Peterman be the highest scoring quarterback tonight? Yes and no.
It's some rando. It's going to be some rando. It's like 0.3%.
No, an asterisk community, which so I didn't even know was a thing. I'm trying to get some engagement here. Apparently that didn't work. Made a community post. So, whatever. Hey, we're out here. Oh, wait, no, there it is. Nice.
Oh, it is.
Perfect.
I'm going to vote yes.
Nice.
I can't even vote on it. Whatever. Okay. Someone voted no immediately. Was that you that voted no immediately?
No. Ken said, would you use 2 wide receivers from the same team together?
Yeah, I think it makes sense, especially if they're playing on different units. Then it really it doesn't matter too much. If they're on the same unit, let's say the Green Bay receivers that we've talked about, then you pretty much have to play Jordan Love in that scenario with them. Mm-hmm. But if it's 2 guys on a team that's kind of thin at receiver, I think it's totally fine without playing their quarterback, especially if they're playing 3 different quarterbacks. So it depends on the situation. I do think it's fine though.
Cool. Let's see. Yeah, there was something I was literally just about to do, but Mr. Miyagi said no. Okay, no worries. We're good. Brian, I also want to ask you another question here while waiting for some more people to join. I know we like to focus a lot on Vegas and team totals, team total moves, and all that stuff like that. How important, or is that any kind of breaking point for you when you're looking at defenses tonight? So, for example, I think it was Cincinnati earlier had the lowest team total in the entire slate. So would you be going against them in terms of finding Tampa Bay's defense, or you kind of just throwing that out the window?
Yeah, I think team totals is a good way. We've done that with great success in the past. It still works pretty well in preseason. I mean, Tampa Bay. Didn't you say Tampa Bay's 6-point favorites or something tonight?
Something like that. All I know is just bet Ravens money line. We literally have a pinned message in our Occupy staff chat that just says bet Ravens money line preseason.
Just do it tonight. Yeah, you could probably skip the DFS slate and just do that. I don't even remember what the question you just asked me was because we got some breaking news here.
It was 2 wide receivers from the same team, but you answered it.
Yeah, I did answer that, but we got some breaking news here.
Okay.
Travion Williams is out for Cincinnati. He's a running back, and they were already kind of thin. This just is a massive boost to one of our top running backs. He was already a top running back on the plug. This hands down makes him the top running back on the slate.
Whoa. Anytime you get to tell me to play a Cincinnati team, boom. I just added another % to my allocation tonight. Let's go.
Love to hear that.
Definitely. So that's great. So yeah, if you all, I believe the plug is being updated now. So if you all have, so give it a couple of minutes, refresh, and then check the plug for updates. Again, at the very top, which I think I can actually show on this here. Let me refresh. For the first update, you'll see updates in blue. So for example, it's with timestamps. For example, 6:06, a bunch of wide receivers from Jacksonville got ruled out. You'll see the update there in blue.
And to be fair, this solidifies, going back to the Cincinnati running back situation, this solidifies our current top play. Also adds one of their other running backs. They're very thin. Also adds one of their other running backs to top plays, because we said Travion Williams and these 2 guys in our notes this morning said they're going to get a majority of the playing time. Now Travion Williams is out. Yeah. So this is big news. Big news.
Yeah. All right. So let me ask you this question then. So for someone who, I know I like to say with 20 lineups, 150 lineups, whatever, if you're doing that, what kind of allocation, it doesn't have to be for that specific player, but for in general, are you really, could you lock someone in preseason DFS?
I guess you could, especially if you're making 20 lineups or less. I don't even mind it. We've seen it before, right? You have a guy that's going to get 10 touches in preseason and he scores 4 points, that's still enough to win GPPs. Basically trying to avoid zeros.
Yeah. That's true.
So I don't hate it. I really don't hate it, especially at running back now because we didn't have a ton of really good plays that we liked. This just solidifies too. So I really don't hate it.
Nice. Cool. And then, again, we haven't talked about this a lot lately, just in general, but some lineup strategy. So let's take a couple minutes and break this down. So we all know low risk, target no badges, don't target necessarily head-to-heads because everyone's like, if you go to the lobby, it's just fucking stacked, to say the least, with head-to-heads. So
save your head-to-heads for in-game showdown.
Yeah, definitely do that. So the 50-50s, the triple up, stuff like that. And then high risk. So how if you had a single entry lineup, you're putting it into a satellite, the daily dollar. I don't even know if that's still called that. How are you building your lineup for tonight?
And sorry, I was just kind of looking through stuff. You said high risk, right? Daily dollar.
Yeah, it's like the daily dollar. The 100-player league, stuff like that. The stuff we always
I would honestly just kind of go straight down the line of what we have on such a big slate. Ownership doesn't get to condense too much, and just looking at other sources and around the industry, I don't think there's a ton of consensus on the guys we like. So I think you can just go straight down the list. Maybe play one or two high risk guys. Just differentiate yourself from other Occupy members, and stack with your quarterback. And I think that's fine. I think that's all you have to do.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I know we kind of try and make it easy just to go down the list, but I do advise people if you have the time, look and read the article to kind of like solidify your plays.
Absolutely, yeah, because we get a lot of people saying there's so many names listed, right? Like how do I know which ones to use? We do list them in order, but yeah, take the time to read about each player, or if you're trying to figure it out. And maybe you come to a different conclusion based on what the beat reporter said, or at least you have the information at your hand to know why a player is ranked where they are.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we have all of our sources, so you can just click it, boom, it hits you in the news tab, and you can read it for yourself, in case if you think you want to interpret it differently.
Exactly.
Cool. I'm just looking here. Again, back with the lineup recommendations. Bankroll allocation is roughly 4 to 5%. What percent of that allocation would you recommend putting in-game showdown?
Judging by the screenshots, Moose, I see in our Discord, like 100%, because everyone's been crushing them. So I don't know, probably. I guess it depends on the slate and if you're willing and able to be ready in there by lock. But at least half maybe.
Yeah,
it really is that profitable.
Like I'll give you the example from last night. I put a lineup in, even though it got pushed back. There was a satellite for 118 players, but only 31 entered, and I got the ticket, which is great.
Nice.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
It was a triple up where like 9 out of 10 people got money. I was like, please don't get last place.
Yeah, that was a good find. And that was even with the lock being pushed back. You said there was still massive overlay.
Yeah, it was huge. Yeah. Especially for people with smaller bankrolls, the dollar contest. I don't know if they have that many 100-player leagues, but literally just scour, and you might be able to find like 10-cent satellites as well. That if they're 50% filled, then go ahead and attack those. And especially for a smaller bankroll, if you can pick up some huge overlay tickets to Thursday or Sunday Million, that's a huge bankroll booster right there.
Oh yeah, I mean that's where you see some of the screenshots in Discord moves, right? And that's what a lot of people are doing. They're picking up those tickets.
Absolutely, yeah. What's up, Carl? I don't know what that first word is. He says, so hard to watch this guy. He sucks at football.
I will say, like, especially I was watching the Atlanta game last night, and it truly was a painful experience. Fortunately tonight, I think is Red Zone back tonight, Moose?
I have literally no idea.
I don't know.
Yeah, that would be pretty.
I understand.
Pretty degenerate.
That would be. I think it's back for preseason week 3, maybe. I can't remember. Either way.
Preseason. Okay, that's what he was trying to say. Yeah, I will say, watching on these local channels, like the people who commentate these games are just awful.
The only good guy is that dude for Arizona. That sounds like the definition of a man. Forget his name.
There was one.
It's like the deepest voice.
I forgot which game I was watching, and he was like, trying to be sarcastic, but he was like 100% honest. He's like, I literally know it was like deep in the fourth quarter. He's like, the only people who are watching this right now are gamblers, and like he's like, I applaud you all for watching and staying here. I was like, yeah, thank you.
Thank you for recognizing us. Yeah, it was it might have been him, but it was the Arizona guy yesterday. And I mean, this dude's like, I can't even. It's just like a caricature of a football guy, right? With like cliches and hard nosed, between the tackles, line of script, like literally every cliche in the book is this guy is a football commentator.
Nice.
And as we're waiting for questions, I'll talk about this. He the play-by-play guy was like, hey, whatever your name is, how do you feel about some of these new additions the Arizona Cardinals have made to their locker room? And he said, oh, they're these are leaders and people are going to follow them. I had an old coach tell me that if you bring enough dogs in the locker room, even the cats are going to start to bark. And
that is great. That is fantastic.
And the play-by-play dude was like, all right, I get that.
Yeah, Rummy says,
oh shit, Rummy's right. He does sound like Jesse Ventura.
That is great. Yeah. So I guess that can be a good thing about the preseason there.
Yeah.
Definitely. Let's see here. Any other news? I don't see too much anything else that's going on, right?
No, I think we got all of the 7 o'clock news. I will just say that there are games at 7, 7:30, 8, 8:30, 9, and 10. So kind of staggered starts today. So just be on the watch. I don't think anything major is going to change. The next biggest set of news we have are for the Giants and Jets. So just be on the lookout for that at 7:30.
Definitely. Yep. So Carl says, my step cousin's aunt saw Nathan Peterman checking out grocery at the store after 6 interceptions. That's got to be brutal for a lot of people there.
I wouldn't be out in public if that happened to me.
No chance. Unless he just carried that blanket and just owned it. Definitely. So let me see here. Just doing something real quick. Cool. Yeah, so we have about 3 more minutes. We're going to get off a little bit early here. If anyone has any questions, comments, concerns, whatever you want to say, now's the time to ask it. Or I guess you can ask it in the Discord as well. OccupyFantasy.com/Discord is where you can get more information about that. If you want to support the live stream, go ahead and just click the little money sign down below to show your support. Become a member. It's one way you can get access to the Discord. Other way is to become a member. OccupyFantasy.com. Membership is low as $7 a week. Get access to the Discord as well, and the playing time notes. I think I hit it all, Brian, right?
I think you got it. Moose. That was an excellent plug there.
Yeah, and for the poll, for the most part, it was 50-50, and a couple people came in late saying no. So it's funny. I was gonna make the line if I was a bookmaker. I was gonna make it like 120 on the no. So I guess.
What a good line, Moose.
I guess I'm pretty Joe Public here.
Hell of a line. Yeah. To be fair, he probably won't be the highest scoring player on the slate.
No, quarterback.
Highest scoring quarterback. But again, I say this again, Moose. Until we get the final week of the preseason, which it sounds like a lot of coaches are going to treat that as the normal, last week of preseason week 4 in the past, where we get a ton of guys, a ton of backups playing and quarterbacks playing full quarters, like all 4 quarters. Mm-hmm. Quarterback scoring doesn't matter too much. We might see it come into play a little bit tonight, but yeah, as we've seen, you can win GPPs with your quarterback scoring 3, 5, 7 points. Doesn't matter. Really, the differences are somehow defense and then most of your position players.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, last question I will add. Well, actually, no. So, DotBets has a question. It says, how do we like Clement tonight?
So I know Corey Clement, he's been the topic of a lot of articles by beat reporters. I think there's a decent enough amount of competition there that he won't get a ton of work. He's a pretty safe play, I think. But Elijah Penny's going to get work. They have this other guy who I've never heard of. I think he's from like Austria, going to get work. Alfred Morris, Devontae Booker. Like a bunch of guys there. Corey Clement might get the most run, but I don't know how much the most is when 5 guys are playing. And there are other running backs on the slate that can get more playing time.
That makes sense, yeah. Cool. So, all right, I'll send you off with this last question. Which player, doesn't have to be high and low and whatever, is going to score a 50-yard touchdown tonight? Like,
are you asking me or are you asking everybody?
No, well, it could be everybody, but you also. Like, what's your? Didn't we always just say like the bomb call of the week during regular season?
Yeah, I'll go with Tylan Wallace for the Ravens. That's my pick.
Okay. I'm gonna go just because his name is cool. Nico Collins.
Nico, big boy Nico. All right, cool.
Definitely. So, all right. So that'll do it. Until next time. Again, if you guys have any more questions, hit up the Discord. I'm ending the poll for Nathan Peterman, and I hope he becomes the highest scoring quarterback tonight. So until next time, Moose and Brian from Occupy Fantasy. Have a good night.
Peace.